President, please be seated. The court is back in session and the floor is given to the defense counsel for Mr. Kyo Sompon to resume their line of questioning.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, again, witness. I'll proceed. Yesterday, in answer to a question put to you by Judge Labeng, I understood that there had been an initial dam. I don't know whether that was during the Long Nol regime, and it had an irrigation canal that was not deep. If I wasn't mistaken, can you tell us when that dam was constructed, that first dam?
Answer. The first dam was not fully used. It was built in the war against Lon Nol. And as I said, the dam was not functional.
So if I understand correctly, that first January dam was the first of its kind in your region?
Answer, yes. It was the first dam, and we depended on this dam in our life.
Ça me fait vous poser une autre question.
This raises another question. Prior to the existence of that dam, how did you irrigate your rice fields?
That dam, actually, there was no pumping machine at that dam. And nowadays, we do not use the pumping machine as well to irrigate the water. And the water in the canal, the feeding canal, can be used to farm twice a year, during the dry season and rainy season. And as of now, at this time of the year, it is almost the harvest time.
Je ne sais pas si
I do not know whether the question wasn't clear enough. Let me rephrase it. My question was as follows. Prior to the existence of that dam, how did you grow rice? And during the dry season, how did you grow anything if you needed to grow anything?
Answer. Your question is that before the dam, where did we get the water from to irrigate the fields? Before we built the dam, we depended on the rain. And if there was no enough rain, and the land was drought.
Hier également.
Yesterday, as well, I believe I understood that you increased the length of the dam by 10 kilometers. Did I understand you correctly, or you were referring to another distance?
Answer. It was about 10 kilometers. I mean, the distance from the 1st January dam to the 6th January dam is about 10 kilometers. This is not the distance in Barai Dam. Let me inform again, the dam of 1st January started from National Road number 71 and it reached 6th January dam. And for the 6th January dam, it was considered or connected to the bridge of 6th January. So the two dams connected to each other.
Moi, ce qui m'intéresse vraiment, c'est la longueur.
What I am interested in is the length of the 1st January dam. That is of interest to me because we have on record a document, IS 18.86, and the ERN in French is as follows: 00347726, ERN in Khmer 00231-627, and in English 00096-744. This document deals with a trip on the ground in Kampunchang, 3rd of January 2003. That trip was by the Office of the Co-Prosecutors, and the length of that dam is 58 kilometers. I wanted to know whether you know the length of that 1st January dam or not.
Answer. If it is the length that you describe, it covers also the feeding canal. Together with the feeding canals and the dams, the length was about what you described.
Donc, si je comprends bien votre...
So if I understand your answer correctly, the 10 kilometers you refer to is the length of the wall of the dam. Is that correct?
Answer: yes. It was the length of the wall of the dam. That wall are used to prevent and keep the water.
Et juste comment savez-vous que cela fait...
And how did you know that the length was 10 kilometers?
Answer: I did not measure it. It is my estimates.
Et que vous calculez par rapport...
And what was the yardstick you used for calculating that distance?
Answer: from my village to the 1st January dam, it was about 4 kilometers. And from the 1st January dam to the intersection, it is about 4 kilometers. And from the intersection to the 6th January dam, it was about 4 kilometers. And perhaps, it is below that or longer than that a little bit.
Je vous remercie de ces précisions.
Thank you for this clarification. I would like us to revisit some passages in your statement of 2008. E3/5255, and there's a passage, and the ERN number is 00277-227. That's in Khmer. In English, is 00250-045. And in Khmer, it's 00239-909. The first ERN was for the French. Let me quote what you state in this record. It was the middle level that imposed the plan that had to be followed by the lower level regarding the construction of the plan, and then the lower level reported to the upper level. What do you understand by the middle level, and what do you understand by the lower level and the upper level? Can you clarify this as regards the work you did on the dam site?
As for the lower level, I was referring to the village level, and for middle level, I was referring to the Sangkat level, to sector level, and above that, I was referring to the people, the top levels.
Et est-ce que vous connaissez le nom?
And do you know the people who are at the upper level?
Answer: I do not know any leaders at the upper level. Anka told me about the work plan.
Et quand vous dites l'encadre,
And when you say it was Anka that told you about that, are you talking of the middle level, and these were your direct supervisors? Is that the case?
Answer: Anka can be Anka at the upper level, or can be at the middle level. When I was referring to Anka here, I meant my supervisors. When my immediate Anka had information from the upper level, that immediate Anka would relay the information to me.
et donc quand vous dites que c'est l'échelon,
And when you say that it was the middle level that imposed the plan that had to be followed by the lower level, you say that it was your direct superiors who determined what that plan consisted of. Is that the case?
Answer: No, not Born and Wood. Born and Wood receive plans from the district and sector. Born and Wood were at the Sangkat level, but they were under supervision of their superiors. As for Born and Wood, they were my immediate superiors. I do not know how to respond to your question. I have no full idea about this matter.
il n'y a pas de problème, je vous donne.
No problem. I'm only asking you to tell us what you know. Another point in your statement is this. Yesterday, I understood that when you referred to working hours on the work site, you said that you started work at 4 a.m. That is in your statement. E3/5255, same page in French, that is 00277-227. ERN in English 00250046, and in Khmer 00239-909. And this is what you stated. Work started at 6 a.m. in the morning up to 11 a.m. and they continued from 2 until 5 p.m. and from 7 until 10 p.m. in the evening. To complete the dam construction plan, they had us work from 4 until 11 a.m. and we continued from 2 until 5 p.m. and from 7 until 10 p.m. I understand from this excerpt from your statement that it wasn't throughout the 6-month period when the dam was being built that people started work at 4 a.m., but towards the end when you had to complete the work on the dam site. Did I understand your statement correctly?
The answer. It is correct. What you mentioned.
Vous avez également indiqué.
You also stated during the hearing yesterday, that was at about 15 hours 16, that you rested once every 10 days. My question to you is as follows. This morning you said that at times there was rotation between villagers working at the site. Was it during the 10-day period when you had your break that you had such rotation, or during another period?
Answer. For the work that we were doing, we rested once every 10 days. People in the villages also rested in the time imposed by ANCA.
Alors, je vais essayer de clarifier ma question.
Let me try and clarify my question. My question was whether it was during the break period that you had this system of rotation between teams, or such rotation was done at another period, during another period.
Answer. For the rotation during the 6-month period, there was a rotation of worker. There was rotation because the forces were getting weak. That's why we rotate workers.
Ce sera ma dernière tentative.
This is my last attempt. Was such work in shifts occur during the break period or at another time?
The answer. Actually, the rotation would take place also during the time that we were working. If villages had worker for replacement of the weak worker, then the rotation would take place.
Je vous remercie de cette précision.
Thank you for this clarification. I would like us to move into another line of questioning, and here I am interested in the period when you were in your village, acting as village chief and not on the work site. You briefly referred to the situation of the charm in your village. I would like us to consider a number of points you made when you were interviewed by OCIJ investigators. I'll start by reading out to you what you stated in the record of that interview, and with the President's leave, I would like us to watch an audiovisual recording of that interview. It's very brief, and then I'll put questions to you. Do I have your permission to have us listen to this audio recording? It is recording number D166/35R, and it is between 1 hour 44 minutes and 11 seconds and 1 hour 45 minutes and 51 seconds. Let me point out that we sent out an email informing the chamber that we wished to use that excerpt.
President, you may proceed.
Alors, pour la cabine technique, je vais...
For the audiovisual team, let me read out the excerpt first. In E3/5551, the ERN is 00277229. In English, 00250-047, and in Khmer, 00239-911. The following question is asked. This is how the question was transcribed. Were you aware of the policy to exterminate the charm? And your answer, as noted, was as follows. I don't know. I only know that they wanted there to be only ethnic Khmer, end of quote. As a matter of fact, witness, you were more specific. And I would like the audiovisual team to have us listen to that excerpt.
President, AV technician, please play the portion of the recording as requested by counsel.
Eliminate the sham altogether as a group.
តែលោកបានដឹងទេថាមាននយោបាយឬមេគានយោបាយរបស់គេដើម្បីលុបបំបត្តិចាមហ្នឹងលែងឲ្យមានជាក្រុមចាមជាជនជាតិចាមហ្នឹងខ្ញុំតំណឹងខ្ញុំមិនសូវដឹងដែរប៉ុន្តែគ្រាន់តែថាគេឲ្យធ្វើតែមួយគឺជាប្រជាជនតែមួយគ្មានចាមគ្មានខ្មែរ I'm not quite sure or not well aware of that, but the only target they have is that to have only one, to have a single group of population for the revolution.
Do you think that Chams were singled out for arrest or execution?
បាទតើលោកធ្លាប់បានសង្កេតឃើញឬក៏គិតថាពួកចាមនឹងត្រូវបានគេចុចយកទោះបីជាអ្នកនឹងក្នុងភូមិខ្មែរក្នុងកងត្លាត់ហ្នឹងគឺចុចយកចាមដើម្បីធ្វើបាបឬក៏ដើម្បីធ្វើទុកបុកម្នេញឬក៏ចាក់អីទេខ្ញុំបើក្នុងភូមិដទៃទៀតខ្ញុំមិនដឹងបើក្នុងភូមិខ្ញុំវាគ្មានទេក្រុម It does not it did not
Je ne sais pas, je m'adresse aux cabines d'interprètes.
I wish to ask the interpreters why there was no French interpretation of what was said in Khmer. Perhaps we'll have to listen to the extract again in order for what the witness said to be interpreted into French, because I didn't hear any French interpretation.
Your Honor, if I could, Mr. President, if I could only make an observation. If I understand counsel's point, the defense believes that the interpretation that we have in the official document is incorrect or incomplete. And I certainly understand they have a right to challenge that. I just think in the future it would save a lot of time if there was a request made to CMS to correct the translation rather than asking the booth to listen to a recording in court and make a instantaneous translation that may or may not be the same in all languages. In the future, I just think it's very important to point out any times that translations are incorrect or incomplete, but it's much more beneficial to all parties if it's brought to CMS's attention before the hearing rather than debating it during the hearing.
I have no problem making a request to CMS, but given the length of the excerpt, I didn't believe that this would be a problem for the interpreters to do it in the booth. But if there's really a problem in the quality of the sound, at least the Khmer speakers have heard the excerpt. But if I can still continue with my question, I will pursue with the literal translation I received in my team, and I'll ask the witness to confirm. So, in what you answered to the investigators who were questioning you,
counsel to ask the witness what he said. It's very leading to read to the witness what the team interprets his words and then asking him to confirm that.
Well, I really don't understand the co-prosecutor's reaction here, because the desire to focus on what was exactly said by the witness was specifically because I wanted to not ask a leading question. So I think this objection is not appropriate. Well, witness, you listened again to what you told the investigators that day. So is it true to say that you said that you did not quite know what the policy was with regard to the Cham, but apparently you said that they wanted to have a single people, no Cham, only ethnic Khmer? Can you confirm?
After having heard the mid-level Angka representative who said that in Cambodia there would be only one single population, that is Khmer, and there will be no Cambodians or no Cham, but one Khmer population.
you said yesterday, and you confirmed this, in fact, today, and we heard this in what you said here in the audio. You said that you did not know what was happening in the other villages, but that in your village, the Cham were not mistreated, were not persecuted. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct. They were not mistreated.
And you said, and I would request a bit of clarification in that regard. This was yesterday with regard to the Cham, when you were being examined by the co-prosecutors. You said that the Cham in your village had the possibility of slaughtering their animals. So my question is the following. Does this mean that they could slaughter animals other than pigs by following their rituals?
No. The Cham people who came to reside in my village said that if they did not slaughter the animals by themselves, then they would not eat the meat from the slaughtered animals. So I told the group chiefs not to mistreat that elderly Cham person, and he said that it would not be sin for him to slaughter an animal, and every 10th day a cow will be slaughtered and the meat will be used for the consumption within the village. And on that day, he asked his two grandchildren, and who are still alive today, by the way, to watch him slaughter the cow. And I could only see what happened from afar. And the two grandchildren were clapping their hands. And then the elderly man slaughtered the cow, and later on he consumes the meat. And of course he did not eat pork, but as for the fermented fish, he ate it.
And with regard again to this question of the animals, you said that animals could be slaughtered every 10 days. So was this done frequently in your village?
No, not that frequent. Sometimes we only had that opportunity once a year. Allow me to say it happened only once a year. As for pigs, it happens rather more frequently. For instance, every 3 months, then a pig will be killed. And of course, the meat would not be only confined within our group, but the meat will be distributed to all villagers within the village. And you can imagine one pig or one cow's meat would be very little when it comes to individual distribution with all the people living in the village.
You also spoke about the possibility of fishing. So my question is, was there a special unit in charge of fishing, or did each family fish on its own?
the thing is, we left for work at dawn, that is in a very early morning. And when we returned home for a meal, they would go to the creek or river, and those people were skillful in catching fish alive in the river, and they would catch some fish. They would then grill those fish and eat it within their group. As for the soup and the cooked rice, it was distributed to everyone. Although it sounds abundant, but in fact it was just merely enough. And in the village, people were assigned to go fishing in the area near Tonle Sap or at some rivers. And in my village and area, new bridges have been built, and usually you could find plenty of fish at the newly built bridge locations. And in particular, during rainy season, you could just catch many fish in one go.
A last point with regard to your village. You said that you carried out the following operation, and I will refer again to your written record of interview. 0022229 in French, in English 00250047, Khmer 00239911. And you said, and I believe you said this also yesterday, when you answered one of the questions that were put to you by the International Co-Prosecutor, you said that from 1975 until 1977, they did not permit marriages in my sub-district, but starting in September 1977, they did permit marriages, end of quote. And in your explanations yesterday, when you answered the co-prosecutor's question, I believe I understood that you said that marriages were not allowed because the country was at war. So my question is, did we properly note the dates that you stated? And were marriages indeed forbidden between 75 and 77? Or were marriages forbidden before, when the country was still at war? Can you please specify?
Allow me to explain. During the wartime, the male and female youths did not get married. And if marriages went ahead during the wartime, it was only for those handicapped soldiers. And for youths or soldiers who were not incapacitated or disabled, they would not be allowed to get married. And that happened prior to 1975. And marriages of ordinary people took place in 1977.
So between 75 and 77 in your marriage, there were no marriage ceremonies. Is that the case?
No, there was no arrangement for that for the marriage.
You then indicated that you had organized marriage ceremonies for 30 to 40 couples at a time. So my question is if between September 77 and mid-78 when you were no longer a village chief, how many times did you organize marriage ceremonies, if you remember?
There were 3 marriage ceremonies from September 1977. So most of the single people got married during this period.
I'm sorry, I did not get the end of your answer. So you said that there were 3 marriage ceremonies as of September 1977. Is that what I must understand?
From 1977 to 78, that is until the time that I was removed from my position, only 3 marriage ceremonies were organized, and for each ceremony there were several couples who got married.
And between mid-78 and when the Vietnamese arrived, do you remember how many marriage ceremonies were organized, if any?
By that time, I did not have the capacity to know about that. I was demoted to an ordinary person, and it was the village chief or the commune chief who would know about that.
If I understood your testimony well, you are still living in the village of which you were the chief back then. Are you still living in that village?
Yes, I am. However, the marriage ceremonies did not take place in my village. They were conducted in the other villages, and people or single people from my village would go to the other villages for the marriage ceremonies.
Okay.
Fine. Please, witness, I don't think you understood my question. I'm asking you if today you are still living in the same village. Today, now.
Je ne parle plus des mariages.
I'm no longer speaking about the marriages. I'm asking you simply if you're still living in that village.
Currently, I am residing at Tusala village, Chongdong commune, which is the native village of my wife. While I was the village chief, I was living at Praisrangai village. And in 1975, I actually moved to live at Tusala village. Witness 1985.
Did you see people who were part of that group of 100 villagers who participated with you on the building of the 1 January jam? Did you see them again since 1979? And do you know if some of them are still alive?
Yes, many of them are still alive, and some of them are living here in Phnom Penh. Others are living in Siem Reap, that is, they return back to their native villages. When the Pol Pot regime fell, they return to their native villages or wherever they wish to return to.
And my last question, do you remember the names of these people who are still alive? And if you do remember these names, can you please give them to us?
There are some who are still living in Phnom Penh, Brother Vâng and Brother Ngoi. And Brother Sai, Sun, etc. I forget most of the names, although I still recognize their faces, and sometimes they do visit me.
Thank you for this clarification. Mr. President, we have no further questions in the Kyo Sampon defense team for this witness.
President, thank you. It is now appropriate for a short break. We take a break now and return at 20 to 3. This afternoon, the Chamber will hear testimony of a witness through TCW 909 via a video link. This is for the parties and for the general public. And Mr. Alho, the Chamber is grateful of your time and testimony as a witness during the last 2 days, and your testimony may contribute to ascertaining the truth in this case. Your testimony is now concluded, and you are not required to remain at the ECCC. Therefore, you may return to wherever you wish to go. And the Chamber wishes you good health and best and safe journey back home. Court officer, in collaboration with WISU, please make necessary transportation arrangement for Mr. Aho to return to his residence or wherever he wishes to go. The court is now in recess.